Welcome to the Henry County Commissioners meeting dated April 13th, 2022. I'll call the meeting to order. If you would all stand for the pledge and a prayer.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless this meeting, bless our country. Lord, we ask that you be with those people suffering in the Ukraine and you bring that to an end, Lord. We ask that everything in this meeting be done according to your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Before we get to Bill, I'm going to read this, which was provided to the Courier Time from Butch Baker, celebrating the April 10th Stars to Telecommunicator Appreciation Week. This is a special week to give a special thanks to a special group and team of people in our dispatch centers. They are there for the public, ready to serve 24/7 to answer the call and dispatch the emergency services agencies and personnel to save lives and protect property. The Henry County Emergency Services 911 and Middletown Telecommunicators are the first responders who take the call, calm the caller, obtain the information, determine the correct agencies to dispatch, then activate the agencies, providing them with as much information as possible. While doing this, the telecommunicator is required to give the caller life-saving medical instruction and safety tips for fire and law calls. Telecommunicators are the lifeline to the firemen, police officers, and emergency medical personnel. 911 telecommunicators are a critical part of the frontline team. In every emergency, they are the calm voice on the other end of the telephone to let you know that you are not alone and help is on the way. The telecommunicators are the unforeseen first responders that are there every day, every night, and always ready to serve the community in a crisis of any critical situation that can mean the difference between life or death. Henry County has provided a public method so you can convey your appreciation for the men and women of the Henry County and Middletown dispatch centers for the service they provide. Send an email to dispatch@henrycounty.in.gov showing your appreciation. This is your chance to say thank you. Please let them know that their service is appreciated, and thank you to all the Henry County dispatchers. So if you have time, please thank a dispatcher. We appreciate all of them. Bill of Church.
All right. Yearly Board of Finance meeting. First, we need to start by electing the officers for this year. We'll need a president.
Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for a president.
I make a motion to nominate Bill.
Can't be me. Yeah. I don't either, but somebody said that.
I make a motion that Steve Dellinger be the president.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Are you abstaining? Okay.
All right, now we need a motion for a treasurer. No, Ed threw you on the bus.
Okay, I nominate Bill.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Well, that's the hard part. All right. Going over and contacting all the banks that we have locally. Interest rates are still in the toilet. I mean, we're just one step above of burying it in the courthouse lawn and coffee cans. It's 0.25%. Nothing's changed. They talked about maybe changes going up this year, but now with all the Ukraine stuff going on, who knows when or if that'll happen. So I make the recommendation we just kind of stay where we're at and leave it alone till something changes and we actually benefit the county.
make a motion that we leave it like it is.
I'll second it. Oh, President?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's pretty much it. We really don't have any investments or anything. We've got CDs out for drainage board, but that's about it. I'd say it's pretty good because there's no extra money to be made right now. Motion to adjourn?
Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, so now we'll go back to our meeting. Have the commissioners had the opportunity to read the minutes from the previous meeting?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Have the commissioners had the opportunity to review the claims as presented?
Make a motion that we accept the claims.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Have the commissioners had the opportunity to review payroll?
Make a motion we accept the payroll.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Corey?
Good morning, Commissioners. 3 items for you. Our annual meeting is on May 11th, 5:30 p.m. at the Smith Building. Formal invitation to follow. I previously discussed pursuing a countywide wayfinding and signage plan, and I'm looking for a volunteer, either from the Board of Commissioners or somebody that you would want to serve on that steering committee. The steering committee consists of 2 members from the City Council, 2 members from the County Council, myself. There'll be an invitation extended to Knightstown and Middletown as well, and then maybe somebody from the Tourism Commission or the Tourism Advisory Committee.
I will volunteer to be on that committee.
Thank you. Is that okay with you two? Great. Thank you. Final item is with the County Council providing approval on substantial majority of the food and beverage applicants. Just our office is here to help with the next steps, however that looks. And if you don't want our help, that's fine too. At minimum, I am going to turn over to your office or the auditor's office a list of all the applicants and the contact information. I mean, I can provide more. I'm willing to help with the next process as much or as little as necessary. Those are my 3 items. Any questions? Sorry? Oh, you were going to say that's 4 things. Yeah. No worries. I came up with notes. I usually don't. Thank you. I did. You're welcome.
Carrie and Scott, I know we have you separate, but I figured you'd appear together.
We're just, this on? Am I correct? I'm good. We'll just update you on what's going on with the bicentennial. And what Carrie is passing out is our Henry County passport. That is going to be available at 30 different sponsors. They're inside the book. We'll promote that. It starts Friday. The passport's a nice little passport deal where you get stamps on each page when you go to these historical sites around the county. So we thought this was a good reach out to the county to get people involved in moving around Henry County and seeing things that maybe they didn't know were there, which is kind of a unique reach out to everyone, not be so concentric just around Newcastle. Another thing
The passport, I do want to mention, is
Yeah.
powered by Duke Energy.
Very
So
good, very
it's-
important, on the
yes.
back. Duke sponsored this, gave us money to print them, and been a good sponsor for
Oh,
us.
so this starts Friday.
Yes.
Yes, and you have, how long, did you say how long to complete it?
How long is it?
60 days.
60, yeah,
Yeah. All entries must be submitted by June 23rd.
there you go.
Is that right? Yep.
Which one?
Then the next thing we're excited about is the torch run on June 4th. Lots of things are happening on June 4th. The torch run will run through all 13 townships, 60 runners, hopefully.
A lot of room.
You have to, a lot of runners. You have to
Yeah,
run
60.
a sub 9-minute mile, so that excludes me. I'm not running it. And we'll also have the time capsule opening here at the courthouse on June 4th, along with a cruise-in. So there will be a lot of stuff going on right around the courthouse. Yes, sir.
For the torch run?
No, for the capsule opening, because we got a call about that the other day.
Oh, I
Somebody wanted to know.
The torch run and the time capsule should be, if we do it right, 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, starting at 5 o'clock, 4:30,
Mm-hmm.
the items will be on display, depending on whether here or in the chamber conference room.
Yeah, we're a little afraid of what we're going to find from 50 years ago, so we're going to dig it up ahead of time, some of it, get some of it out. Hopefully it's in good shape, and the ceremony will be a part of what else is in there. So that'll be right before the car show starts, and the torch run, the last runner should come in during that ceremony. So hopefully we get that all coordinated nice and great weather for that day.
Great. and
Second.
it's not
So
gonna rain
when are you going to dig it up beforehand? When are you?
When are we going to dig it up beforehand? Friday?
Maybe day before,
Okay.
possibly. I
Okay.
mean, we don't know how deep we know where it is more or less. We
Right.
know how deep it is
Right,
and how it's contained. Hopefully there's a concrete vault around it where it's preserved nicely, we hope. But we're not even sure what's in it.
That was put in how many years ago?
50.
15? Yeah.
Might be wet.
Well, I don't know. It'll be fine.
Now, next is the Hoopla Festival, which is June 25th, which is part of the Knockout contest. The Knockout contest is where we're trying to set a world record at the field house for basically a free throw contest. We're very happy to have the Pacers and the Fever as sponsors for that, and they're going to help us promote it. They're going to supply prizes, basketballs, T-shirts, things like that. Bring over their mascot, cheerleaders, be a part of the whole deal. But the rest of the things in that day include the festival at Baker Park.
The Hoopla Festival, we have 6 music acts that'll be on Main Street with food trucks, and Belgian Horse Winery is providing drinks for everyone. And there will be other things going on in the park at the same time. A car show. Hopefully we'll have horseshoes and cornhole and all the things that the park has to offer. So-
Pickleball and,
Pickleball. That's
all the
going to
fun.
be a big day. We hope you're available on June 25th. And we need 702 people to participate, so.
In the Knockout.
How many have signed up? Anybody?
A few.
few.
We're just starting to promote it. We're starting to promote the sign up through
It'll be great.
Eventbrite or Hoops in Henry. You can link right through it. We're starting to promote that there's a really nice video on Facebook, on social media of what Knockout is.
That's Hoops in Henry.
Hoops in Henry.
HoopsInHenry.com, yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing we want to be sure to mention is what we want to thank everyone that's contributed. Our sponsors, the Henry County Council, the Newcastle Council, the Foundation, the EDC, the Tourism Commission. We've done fundraising's been fantastic, and our sponsors have been great too, the ones we've picked up. Our overall sponsor is Henry Community Health, and we appreciate the big chunk of money they gave us to start out this whole thing. But we're pushing towards the 529, which is the College Savings Fund, and Carrie can describe that better.
So our legacy for the bicentennial is that we will start a 529 for a cohort every year for Henry County elementary students, probably third graders. So every year we'll pick the third grade class for all of Henry County, and we will fundraise they will have $25 donated or put in their 529, and then that needs to be matched in some way through a friend or a family member. But we just want all of our students to know that Henry County, the community, believes in education, and we believe in them. So that's our legacy for the next 50 years. So
Yeah,
the next committee better think of something really good.
There you go. We're really good. Yeah, yes. And we appreciate the $25,000 for the food and beverage, which is going directly to that with our match. And that'll be a great kickoff, and we plan to have another chunk of money at the end of this year to put in there and get a great start for that program. So, okay, questions?
Does anybody else have any questions for this? All right. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Awesome.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Frost and Berry. Come on up, Shonda. I invited Shonda just to come and give updates on things that are happening in the chamber to get word out. Another opportunity to get word out of any events and different things that are going on. So take the floor.
I appreciate that, Bobby. And appreciate everyone that was able to come out to the chambers, meet the candidates last week. I appreciate the attendance. It's our first year doing that. Want to make you aware of something we have coming up called Career Day here in Henry County, which is May 6th. So those that were joined us this morning at REMC, the chamber host Senator Braun this morning, and he did touch on the fact that the push for our young folks to attend a four-year college, et cetera, isn't always the fit. And that's one of the things that Career Day was hitting on. You know, there's trade schools, there's so many other options, and the schools tend to have a push to the four-year college, but that's kind of left us in a short spot with the trades. So Career Day will focus on trades. Our goal is to have 50 businesses set up. We are still taking businesses if anyone's interested against May 6th. And this will be hands-on experiences for our students of Henry County. So don't think of it as a job fair. It's what do I want my career to be? So if I'm thinking about being a realtor and I go talk to a realtor and I find out about the continued education, you know, I'm paying for my own marketing, maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'm going to, so it lets them explore before they invest in college. So that's May 6th. If anyone has a business that'd like to get involved with that, just reach out to me. It's a great opportunity. And also, we do have 2 vacant seats on our board. If anyone would like to get more involved with the chamber, we're looking for 2 board members. And our next big event will be the Memorial Day celebration, ceremony, and parade. We're hoping to make this even bigger and better this year with the bicentennial. Our theme is remembering 200 years of Henry County service men and women. We are adding food trucks and some other things this year due to bicentennial. So that's available on our website too. Anyone wants to get involved with that. So just come Career Day, support our kids, and Memorial Day.
The 2 vacant seats on the board, what are the requirements to be filled? Is there any requirement? Just wanting to be on the board?
And be a chamber member.
And be a chamber member?
Yeah.
Okay, so chamber member, all right.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Anybody have
you.
any questions for Shonda? Nope. All righty. Mr. Estel?
Thank you for adding me late notice. Some things become time sensitive with what we do. Mentioned this a little bit in the email, but as we're negotiating reinsurance renewals each year, basically what happens is claims data becomes available from the third-party administrator on a certain date in the month. So typically we get reinsurance offers that are good until the next set of claims data becomes available. We fortunately get that data typically a few days before that carrier does and the quote expires. And so we had tons of reinsurance quotes, which I think I shared a list in the email. But one in particular was really, really strong. And when we got the data for March claims, there were some things on there that maybe weren't positive from a development standpoint. And so we needed to get this reinsurance quote locked in quickly before that became public data to the reinsurer. So at a high level, we actually, from June 1 of last year to today, we have 11 less employees insured. And I've ordered a report, but I don't have it. But I'm guessing maybe 30 or so less people because we have 9 less employee spouse, 3 less employee children, and 3 less families from where we started June, and 4 more employee only. So, 10 or so years ago, when the insurance committee and the commissioners decided to do the Plan B and the spousal carve out for new hires, we were very adamant that those were not short-term helps in terms of saving the plan, but 8 to 10 years down the road, we could see positive development. So I know a lot of people would probably say, hey, we haven't eliminated jobs. How at Henry County, are we seeing those numbers? Well, I think what you're seeing is that when people get hired, their spouses have worked other places. They're not adding their spouse. The Plan B certainly has a higher deductible. So you could have some people that come on that choose to insure their dependents elsewhere because maybe the plan's not as rich as what the Plan A is for our legacy employees. So I think those things that were done a long time ago we're probably seeing that kind of as we have turnover. We're starting to see maybe families go off and they're replaced with younger people that we're bringing singles in. So that's a really good thing in terms of driving our fixed cost and our expected claims down. What it does do from a rate standpoint when we lower the number of people is we're going to see a little bit higher rate on that specific premium because unfortunately, if you look at our 10 or so claimants who spent more than $50,000 last year, none of those people are part of the turnover. So, we're bringing on the younger, healthier, but in terms of the premium that we pay for large claimants, we saw a little bit of an uptick, roughly 12% increase overall in that rate, but with the change in enrollment, we actually are seeing very little movement in dollars. So in terms of what you guys budget and expected and maximum claims, we're seeing less than 5% change from what we told you last year. And the current year we're running, I don't have the exact number of what you budgeted, and with the enrollment change, it makes it a little bit complicated. But my best guess is we're probably running 200,000 or 300,000 right now in the black from what you budgeted for the current year in terms of claims. And so, these are just numbers on paper. If our claims continue, we could see that same trend. The good news is, some of those large claimants, we had a little more activity this year, are non-recurring issues. We had a couple COVIDs, we had a car accident, we had some things that, are not as much the repetitive nature as you maybe see in the heart and cancers and some of those things. So, all in all, I think it's extremely positive renewal because I think from a budget standpoint, it's minimal impact. What I think we need to decide, and I talked to Debbie and her staff and Stephanie, with Ann being out, just trying to get open enrollment organized so that you can do June deductions in May payroll. I would say the final thing we need to just build out our system that you use for open enrollment is for you just to decide what, if anything, you want to do with the employee contributions. And then we can plug those in, and whatever dates you tell us you're ready, we can make that system go live and let your people know that they can go in and make any changes.
So Debbie, you're going to we'll coordinate all that together to get all the information for open enrollment then? Okay.
Yeah, so really we're just looking to approve the reinsurance.
Insurance?
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve the reinsurance?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Any other questions on anything? Okay. All right.
Wait.
I mean, we discussed it, and I would say nothing has changed in that you could make the decision that you wanted to try to do that. And just like I alluded to earlier, like the carriers are not going to offer to lock in outside of about 60 days. So what we would have to do is we would have to take our claims experience probably through September, maybe October, and say, offer us a new reinsurance option, and we'll cut our current option off and get run in and see if we could hold the terms. I think there are always challenges. We won't know until we do it, and we would not be able to sit here and tell you there's not going to be anything adverse to do it until we because what could happen is we could have, like we had this year, I mean, let's say, hey, that's the plan, and we have a car accident happen in October, and we've not locked that in yet, and there's hundreds of thousands of potential bills sitting out there. I mean, the reinsurance carriers are not going to step up and say, well, yeah, I want to take on that liability. So it would be like, we would have to make the strategic decision that we wanted to attempt that and see what impact, if at all, it would have negatively on the reinsurance contract, but go into it with the understanding that there is no guarantee. We can try it and see what we come up with, and then if it's not fruitful, then we can just ride our contract out until June.
So because it's a 6-month experience data instead of 12 months, give or take, it's risky for them.
I mean, it's not risky because we're not, we would have a new contract that was 12 months starting in January, but they're going to want to see the next 6 months of data before they offer us an annual contract for 23. They're going to want to see data up until that date. So we just can't go to them now and say, hey, will you offer us a contract 1/1 to replace this one? They'll say, yes, we will. Just send us the data in October, and we'll tell you if it's going to be $300,000 or $3 million for the premium. So, I mean, that we'd have to go through, I'm obviously being facetious, but we would have to go through underwriting again, just like we did for the renewal, and it may or may not, it may or may not be good. I would also just say, keep in mind, in terms of budgeting, I mean, we're probably never going to have firm numbers before about that 60-day mark. So in terms of looking for like a 2023 budget, if you're working on that in like July or August or whenever you do that, I mean, we're not going to have numbers in July or August for 2023 at future renewals anyway. It's probably going to be October, November. So, I mean, we can do any of these things that you want to do. I just want everybody to understand. I would not go tell employees, hey, we're definitely going to do this, and this is how it's, until we really went through the process.
So this is something we need to sit down and really
I
go
would
through.
say we just need to talk about the pros and cons, and if you want to, I mean, there's no harm in taking a look at it. There's just no guarantee. Well, we would probably have to do, you have to by law do an open enrollment once a year. So you would probably end up needing to do a second open enrollment for January 1 of those years. You're going to have to do 2 open enrollments and get on that 1/1 cycle. So you're going to go through that whole process again. Yeah, I mean, other than that, which I say other than that, like that's not a lot of work. It's a ton of work. I know mainly for you guys. But I mean, other than that, that would be the big thing.
Anything? Thank you, Josh.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, So we have the coroner's report, a report from IDM, and the treasurer's monthly report. Do I have a motion for these reports?
Make a motion, we approve them as presented.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Stacy's not here. Joe, do you have anything for the highway department? Steve, you have anything for drainage? Tom is not here. Sheriff? I'm sure it was a tedious, long process to do the move. Thank you for everything that you've done.
You would be very proud of that team. They worked hard, finished up. I was finished up about 7:30 last night, and there was a majority of them were still there at 11 last night. So it was a long, hard day, but it went well. Good cooperation, no real problems. We're very pleased.
Good job.
Do we have any opportunities to rent out some of our facilities to the marshal's office or other counties?
I will tell you that if I can keep those numbers in where we are today, that I will not be opposed to renting out, say, up to 10 beds at $37.50 a day. The problem that we're going to have going forward is there are several. The judges work with me very. They cut our numbers down to several more, and so we're going to have some more we need to get taken care of first. So we can be in a crowded situation pretty quickly. But again, I'm going to keep bumping the brakes on that. To start with the oldest ones first, and putting them 10 at a time, until we can get that process really short and see where we are. So a couple things I have to look at before I offer that. But that's my goal going forward in the next 2 to 3 months, seeing how quickly I can get those more served. So they're not, some of those are going to be 2 years old. So we need to get them served, get them through the process, and then see where our numbers are. Hopefully, if we're right here, I'll be happy with that. And try to make some more money. I just have to see where we are once we start that process.
I'm sorry, Angela, I forgot you. Do you have anything? Okay. Jenny, do you have anything? Rita?
Okay, the secretary would like to be able to accept credit cards. And you guys have to approve. Debbie said that we needed to use what the treasurer's using. Okay, so you guys have to approve it for us to use it.
Any documentation or anything to approve? Do you have anything to,
Not on the one that the county uses, and she was going to use the little, I can't remember, a little box or something. That
square?
little
Oh, yeah, no,
square.
because it's the county, it has to be.
So,
She'll have to contact, Pega to get a contact and all the details worked out with them.
And then we can, once we have it, then we can approve it.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
The second one, she said that the 4-H barn, the arena is getting expensive to make repairs to. In order to turn the water back on, it costs us $200. And there's other things that's going wrong out there that needs to be repaired. And she was told to find out from you guys who's responsible for it.
It's the park. Joel? Do we have a twitch? My twitch started yesterday, so I'm not winking. I'm sorry, you winked back at me earlier. I said, sorry, not winking. He goes, I wink back. Do we have a list of repairs?
She hasn't, she just told me this today.
Yeah.
I'll get with her and tell her to make out a list, and one of us will get it up to you guys. But we'll have to get some quotes on some stuff, I think.
Do you have budgeted in your budget repairs? You have
Not for
nothing?
the 4-H stuff that I know of.
Okay.
So, okay. I do know that she talked to 4-H about it, and they was the one that suggested that we come to you and find out who's responsible, so I'll let her know.
Okay, we'll have to look at it. I'll have to look at past bills, but it's typically all that comes out of the parks budget.
Okay. And the third one, I would like for one of you guys, or all of you, to meet me at the park sometime, and we need to go to the shelter house. I have some foundation problems that you guys need to see.
The big shelter house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Since you're the liaison, you want to handle that? Yep. Okay.
let me get with me and let me know when you can go.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Mandy, Henry County EMS.
Morning. Lucas is going to pass out some information about some grants. This is the timeline of this grant is less than a month from the time they announced it to the deadline to apply. So it's kind of rushed, and we're as prepared as we can be. I did have Joel look at it, and he pretty much had the same questions I had, and I still can't find answers to. But we're going to run out of time to apply, so I wanted to see if I could get approval to go ahead and apply for it. It's for a bariatric grant. They will pay for up to 2 ambulances outfitted for bariatric patients, $180,000 per ambulance. The majority of our patients are already bariatric. The state guidelines are 30 BMI or above. Probably 70% of the patients we take now are that. We can also bill it at a higher rate to the insurance companies if we go bariatric. So it kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. We meet the criteria perfectly as far as what they lay out in the grant. There's a couple more questions, and I'm still trying to find them, but I would rather apply and then decide not to take it because we can't than to miss the opportunity altogether.
And I think those questions, I think we all had the similar questions.
Yeah.
When we were required to go anywhere versus Henry County.
Yeah, I mean, the documents make clear that you'll be in a better position to get the grant if you agree to go long distance.
Right.
I haven't read anything that says you're required.
Look to, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never did find attachment C. I couldn't find it. Yeah. And I actually sent, they have a place you can send questions. I've sent several and had no responses.
Oh, so this is
So
the 17th of June, is that right?
17th of June is when they'll announce. The deadline to apply is April 24th.
April
So,
24th?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion? Or does anybody have any questions for Mandy? You just have to get a grant number from Debbie if this is.
Yeah.
Somebody saw this. I haven't had time to look at it.
It's a grant for,
So we are approving,
her
allowing them
to get the grant, apply for the grant. Mm-hmm, yes.
I'm okay with that.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we allow her to go ahead and apply.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. And then the second thing is, we got the squad back. Having trouble with it, wouldn't really run that great. We finally got frustrated, had it towed to Hoosier Auto and said, look at it top to bottom, tell us everything that's wrong with us and give me a price, because basically it's just sitting there rotting. And he's determined it needs a new motor. It's probably going to need new brakes and a whole braking system all the way around. Again, it's just something that wasn't taken care of previously, and we're going to have to pay to have it fixed. But that is for right at $5,000, and there'll probably be more cost, but this is what they need to go ahead and order that motor. And I'd rather use it and spend that than just have it sit there and rot and not even be able to trade it in on a new one. But I have to, we're kind of jumping here, because they have to actually have the money first before they order it.
This is coming out of your
Yep.
your non-reverting fund? Okay. Any questions for Mandy? Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
So we have maintenance for Pro-Lawn, for the yard, or for taking care of the landscaping around the courthouse. And that is for $1,810. It is my proposal to mow the courthouse property $45 per cut, based on 28 cuts per year is $1,260. Trim all the bushes and haul debris from the property at $5 per bush. We don't have that many bushes anymore. We took them all out. Oops. No, that was not an oops. It looks really good. Doesn't it, Carrie? It looks beautiful. In the fall of the year, cut down ornamental grass and haul debris to the property, from the property for $100. So if he does the bushes, it'll be a total of $1,810. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept the bid.
Second.
Anybody have any discussion?
As long as he knows we don't have bushes.
Well, he'll only charge when he cuts the bushes that we don't have. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. We have on here Butler, Fairman, and Seifert? Yes, ma'am.
You can come on up here, Doug. It's all right. So, yeah, I'll just give you, my name's Rusty Connor. I'm with the Middletown Fall Creek Township Park Department. This is Doug Valmore. He's with the Butler, Fairman, and Seifert engineering firm. They're the firm of for the Honey Creek Trail. And I'll let him do most of the talking. I'll give you guys a map of what he's going to talk about. So, did you want those other ones?
Yeah. So again, my name's Doug Valmore. I'm the designer. We're contracted with Middletown Fall Creek Park Board to design the Honey Creek Trail from Mechanicsburg to Henry County 600 North. As you may be aware, Phase 1's already been built. That got built late last summer. And Phase 2, which is the remainder heading east, is been awarded to Milestone and will start work next Monday. So the reason why we're here today is to discuss some signage and striping we'd like to do on some county roads. In particular, on County Road 600 West and County Road 700 North, we're proposing this because there's going to have to be a temporary detour to get around a piece of the trail that we'd eventually like to construct, but we can't yet because we don't have that property yet. So this will be a temporary runaround to fill the gap between the two large pieces that are going to get constructed. So in particular, we'd like to put warning signage up on County Road 600 West and 700 North for bike crossing, you know, as the trail does connect into those roads. And we suggest to put some Shero markings, which is the, you know, bike symbol and the chevrons there at certain intervals, just to let the cars know that those bikes are likely going to be going up and down those roads to get to the other part of the trail.
So it's my understanding through the emails that we received, you want to actually, or it's been proposed to actually use part of the county roads as part of the trail, not just signage warning, but you want us to approve to use the actual county road as part of the trail.
Am I saying that, Rusty? I think we'd like
Based
to
upon the
use this
emails
as
that I have received.
from
Yes, Joe Copeland.
yes, yeah.
Sorry,
So
couldn't
yes.
remember if it was, yeah, Joe Copeland.
Yep,
That
yep,
you guys
so-
are actually wanting to use the county roads as part of the trail. Not that it just crosses the county road, but it's how
Yes.
long of a section of the county road?
Yeah, they will use segments of the road to get from one part of the trail to the other, correct.
And how long is those segments? How long, what is the distance of those?
Oh, boy, about half a mile.
What's involved, Joe, in terms of liability here?
Who's responsible for maintaining all the signage and the road and everything else once it's put in, if it was approved?
We would be responsible for the signage and maintaining that aspect of it.
So I have liability concerns myself.
I also have liability concerns as well.
Joe, your
Joe.
input?
If we were just crossing the road, but we're using a good portion of the road as officially part of the official trail, is what concerns me.
The two things, and you've already mentioned them, liability and maintenance. Because you got to maintain signs, you got to maintain pavement markings. The liability, if anything should happen, I mean, they turn an ankle. I mean, 600 West is in pretty decent shape, but 700 North is a little rough. All right, and needs some work, and I'm not sure the pavement markings, if they put any down, is going to hold up. So, anything happens, you know the county's going to get sued. So.
And is it a half a mile on 700 North and a half a mile on 600 West, or a total a half a mile for both?
Total.
It would be a total of about a half mile, maybe a little bit more. What we're thinking anyway, people's going to use it no matter what. I mean, people's going to ride bikes, people's going to, be out there. It's not a very busy intersection at all. We're trying to make it more safe to where if we do put signs up, we do put a markings on the ground or whatever, if we do get it paved to where, people's going to ride their bikes out there anyway. So what we're trying to look at with this is, to make it to where it's, liability-wise, I think, people's going to use it anyways. So, I mean, people ride their bikes through, you see these lanes downtown Anderson, you see lanes, maybe not Anderson, Indianapolis, you see these bike trails everywhere we go. So I guess there's probably liability everywhere when you see trails and stuff.
So I guess
I guess my question would be, like he says, people ride their bikes everywhere on my road, probably where you live, whatever. Is there a difference in the liability if we say this is an official trail of Henry County where you can ride bikes? Or is this different from somebody just like me getting out on a bike and riding down my road? Are we more liable because we have labeled it as an official trail?
I mean, we did consider a scenario where it's not formally marked, but we certainly would like to have some sort of warning. You know, knowing that people are going to get on there, maybe at a minimum, say, have a bike warning sign ahead of that ramp, that just so that the cars know that bikes are about to get on there, even if we don't designate the route. So that would be pulling some of these signs out, maybe pulling the Sharrows out, understood that that pavement is not ready for
So can I
Sharrows
ask,
anyway.
how long has this been in the process of being used at this road? How long in the design has it been intended to be used, these roads be used as the official, versus how long we've known about this request? How long, when did that design process start and the idea come up that you wanted to use those roads?
That's probably a question for Jeff.
I think, since I don't think any of us have been out there and actually walked this ground and looked at it, probably that's a good idea. We should go look at it, and then we can make a determination at our next meeting. I hate to just take a look at this map and then try and decide whether this is a good idea or not. I'd like to go look at it. So I guess I make a motion to table this until our next meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I would add, that we did mention Milestone's going to get going on the trail starting Monday. It's not on this part. He's starting on the west part, so it's fine. I think we have plenty of time to work this out before he would ever need to be getting out there anyway.
I have another question that we're talking about the maintaining of the road, and what Joe's saying, the one section's not bad, but the other one is, and we're struggling for money to fix the roads that we have now and then have to add that to it to make sure that it's properly maintained with accordance to a trail. I don't have any problem with the trail, but you're asking for added liability to the county and added expense to the county, which right now we're struggling to take care of. Other than that, I don't have a problem with it. It's just you're adding extra liability and cost that the county has to incur.
If Steve has time, maybe he could stand out there for 2-3 days and see if he ever has any close calls.
There again, I'm thrown under the bus.
Does anybody else have, I know there was a gentleman that was here. Anybody else have any comment on this item? Oh, okay, we have a motion.
Once this trail is put in, Rick Ware, Jefferson Township, mile south, 3/4 east of Sulphur Springs. Who is responsible for maintenance and upkeep of this trail 20 years from now?
Middletown, Fall Creek Township Park Department.
Why is Fall Creek Township Parks Department in Jefferson Township?
Is this in Jefferson Township?
And how far are we planning on going with this?
As of right now, we're planning on going to 600 north.
Future plans?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay. So you're deadheading at 600 north.
At this time, yes.
I don't like the way you're wording that.
Well, but that's between Middletown, and that's not a commissioner thing. That's probably for further discussion with them at their Parks Board meeting, or, yeah.
Because reason why I'm bringing this up, I am a property owner of part of this railroad bed. Nobody seems to say anything about it to us. And I know other property owners where they're already working at were not informed what was going on.
So, of course, the future plans with the Rain Tree Trails and Greenways plan that we've had since 2007 does include connecting Newcastle to Middletown and beyond. So it all comes down to ownership, but future plans do say, yes, we'd like to see Middletown connected to Newcastle, go through Sulphur Springs. That's a future plan. So to be able to use this abandoned rail corridor to do that. Ownership, that all has to be determined south of 600 North, which part of that is still owned in name of Nancy Smith now, who used to be Honey Creek Railroad, and then she transferred some of those parcels from Honey Creek Railroad because it has been dissolved, and into her and her husband's trust since that time. So, but future plans do call to try to connect all of this together. But it's future, and privately owned, depends on where that is, and how long that would take to acquire those parcels. Okay. All right.
So we have a motion and a second to table this until we can gather further information. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Appointment, Baker Tilly Annual Budget Assistance. Debbie, is this just the annual? Help do the budget. Yep. This is the annual where Baker Tilly comes in and helps us do the debt services and the numbers for the budgeting. It sets forth the hourly rates for each person because they do bill by the hour. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept this agreement with Baker Tilly for budget assistance.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We have an opening on the Alcohol and Beverage Board. In November of 2021, Todd Hyday resigned his position on that board. We had advertised this a few times with no one stepping forward. Currently, Clint Weaver has agreed to sit on that board. So do I have a motion for appointing Clint Weaver to that board?
So moved.
I will second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Have the bids for the annex. We have the bids for the annex building. I'm so sorry, I didn't have my microphone on. I'll reread this. Architect McGlory Studio is interested in the above subject property, and we are submitting this proposal. AM Studio is extremely interested in establishing a local office in Newcastle. ASAP, your consideration of our offer for $22,100 would be much appreciated. And then they have various qualifications according to the bid, which we will review prior to making a decision, probably next meeting, I would assume. This is from Preserve Henry County for an offer of $24,000. We intend to save the historic building that's on the Indiana Landmarks 10 Most Endangered list by restoring the outside envelope of the building and ready the inside for future development. So they have proposed $24,000, and I'm assuming all of the other pertinent information according to the bid packet was also followed, and we will review this as well. Process going forward is we will review this to make sure everything meets all of the requirements. Should we decide not to accept any of these, we can move on with a different avenue. Correct. We are not required to accept any one of these just based upon the dollar figure. Okay.
So moved.
How about I do that so it's on the record?
Second.
Do I have a motion to take the proposals under advisement?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. And I believe next meeting, we also have the other two, or one of the other two coming in next meeting. Okay. ARP committee, Susan Hoon has requested to be replaced on the ARP committee. So we're just making that official in this meeting, just announcing. We will be talking to each of the other council members, and then at the next meeting, appoint one of the other council members to the ARP committee. Sheriff McCorkle, Byron Patrick.
27-year service, just retired. We'd like to let him keep
Do I have a motion to allow Officer Byron Patrick, retiring after 24 years, to purchase his duty gun for $1?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Ivy Tech agreement.
Sure, we had, Commissioner Dell. The property for many more years, and so the discussion point was, would Ivy Tech be willing to take ownership of it, subject to the county having ownership if Ivy Tech ever moves out? So in other words, it would be I guess how I've styled it, a conditional quitclaim deed. In other words, the deed would provide that Ivy Tech would have ownership. Then if Ivy Tech stops using the property for post-secondary education for any reason, it would revert back to county ownership. I believe the local Ivy Tech people are comfortable with that. So I have prepared a draft deed that I've sent to them to review. Don't have any comments back from that yet, but I think conceptually they're on board with it. At some point in the near future, we'll probably have a deed for you to approve at a meeting.
I think it's a great idea. And we'll take over 100% of the maintenance of the building.
Correct.
So that will save us a
lot of
ton
money.
of money.
Yep.
They've already agreed to pay some of the maintenance this last year, which the county couldn't afford just in HVAC repairs alone. It was roughly $95,000. So this to me is a benefit to the county, and then we still retain the property if they leave. So I thought it was a good idea.
I agree. So we'll look forward to that. Thank you. Resolution 2022-04-13009. This is a resolution authorizing the disposal of worthless property. Whereas Henry County, Indiana has upgraded its computer systems, and whereas Henry County has a number of used computer monitors that are no longer compatible with computers that are currently in use that are no longer needed by Henry County. And whereas Indiana Code 5-22-22-8 permits local governmental units to dispose of worthless property. And whereas property is considered worthless if the value of the property is less than the estimated cost of sale and transportation of the property. And whereas the IT contractor providing service to Henry County has opined that the computer monitors are of no value, now therefore it be resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Henry County, Indiana as follows. The computer monitors detailed on the attached Exhibit A are of no value and may be disposed of as determined by the Board of Commissioners. Effective date. This resolution shall be effective upon passage. All resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict wherewith are hereby repealed. Any provisions herein contained which is found by a court of competent jurisdiction to be unlawful, or which by operation of law shall be deemed unenforceable shall be omitted, but the rest of the remainder of this resolution, to the extent feasible, shall remain in full effect, force and effect. So we have placed those monitors down in the basement in the back hallway. I believe the intent was to allow employees, if they want a monitor, to go ahead and take them, since it is going to cost us more to get rid of. He has kept 50, I believe, as part of Exhibit A. He said, I would like to request removing the following equipment from county inventory. I have kept as many spare monitors as I feel is needed, approximately 50. The inventory listed below is of no value to the county anymore. All of these systems are either VGA or DVI-based communication. We only purpose DP or HDMI now due to industry changes. So I think the intent was to allow any of the county employees to take a monitor should they so choose. And then if there are any left, we'll probably open it up to the public to give them away to the public. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. We have a resolution regarding the disposal of surplus property. This is resolution number 2022-04-13-010. Whereas the Henry County, Indiana has recently completed the construction of new Henry County office and detention center, and whereas the current Henry County Sheriff's Office and jail will not be utilized for the housing of prisoners after the opening of the new facility, and whereas the City of Newcastle is in the process of renovating one or more buildings for governmental use and wishes to obtain 2 toilets and 2 sinks located in the former jail, and whereas Henry County does not currently need the toilets and sinks and is willing to allow the City of Newcastle to have the toilets and sinks, and whereas Indiana Code 5-22-22-10 permits local governmental units to exchange personal property upon terms evidenced by resolutions adopted by each of the local governmental units. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Henry County Commissioners of Henry County, Indiana, as follows. The City of Newcastle, Indiana shall be permitted to take possession and ownership of 2 toilets and 2 sinks currently located at the former Henry County Sheriff's Office and Jail, located at 127 North 12th Street, Newcastle, Indiana. Do I have a motion, or are there any questions?
I make a motion to accept this resolution as long as I don't have to remove them.
I will second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Do we have anything else? I don't think so. Oh, Corey. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh. Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.